5 separate panels. The first one is the back panel over here. Then we have 2 front panels. And then finally, we're going to have 2 sleeves. So these are the 5 panels, the 2 sleeves, the 2 front panels, and a back panel. We're using a 4mm crochet hook. This yarn, which is Winter King, a Kenyan brand, it's a medium weight yarn and it's 100% acrylic. If you want your cardigan heavy, I would advise that you go for a chunky yarn. Then we're going to need stitch markers, at least 2, a darning needle, and a measuring tape. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. We're going to start with the back panel, and we start with a slip knot. Then we're going to chain 60. 60 with my yarn and the hook will give me a size medium to large. If you're using the same size of yarn and hook and you want a smaller cardigan, I would advise you to do 50 chains. If you want a bigger cardigan, I would advise you to do 70. That is only when you're using the same size of hook and yarn and you have the same stitch consistency as mine. Otherwise, chain and measure to get you to your shoulder to shoulder measurements +5, because we don't want a tight cardigan. We want something that is a bit oversized. So go for your shoulder to shoulder measurements, then add 5 more inches. So I'll start by chaining 60, then I'll measure to show you the length of my shoulder to shoulder. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. I have my 60 chains, so I'm going to measure this to see what it gets me. My shoulder to shoulder is 16, and when I add 5 inches, it should get me to around 20 to 21. And this stretches a little bit. So when you're supposed to stretch out your work just a little bit, because when you do the first row, it's going to stretch out. So when I do that, this gets me to 20. 16 plus 5 is 21, but I feel like 20 is going to work for me. So I'm going to go with the 20 inches, which is the 60 chains. To begin row 1, we're going to block off the last chain and chain 1 more while holding that the 60th chain that we did. Then we're going to yarn over, insert the hook into that chain that we're holding and pull up a loop to get 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through the 3 loops to complete a half double crochet. Yarn over, insert the hook into the second chain, pull up a loop, get 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the 3. That's our second half double crochet. And we're going to place 1 half double crochet into all the chains across. So make sure that each chain gets 1 half double crochet. At the end of row 1, I'll have a total of 60 half double crochet stitches. If you begin with 50, you should have 50. If you began with 70, you should have 70. So remember that for a size smaller, chain 50. For a size bigger, chain 70. If your yarn is different, you might need to chain more or less than what I've done, regardless of the size. I'm done with row 1, and after doing the first row, this is getting me to 20 inches without stretching. So now we're going to work row 2. To begin row 2, we start by chaining 1. So chain 1 and turn, yarn over, begin in this first stitch, insert the hook, and complete a half double crochet in that stitch, then into the second stitch do one half double crochet, one half double crochet into the next one, and repeat to the end. So place just one half double crochet into every stitch across. I'll meet you at the end of row 2 to show you how to complete it. This is the last stitch in row 2, so make sure that you do not miss it. Place a half double crochet into that stitch. And now we have 2 rows. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 3. And row 3 will be exactly like row 2. So yarn over in the first stitch, place one half double crochet and one half double crochet into all the stitches across. This right here is the last stitch in row 3. So place a half double crochet into it. We're done with 3 rows. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn to begin row 4. Again, row 4 is going to be a repeat of row 2, and we're going to repeat row 2 until we get the desired length of the cardigan minus 2 inches, which will be covered by the ribbon at the bottom part of the cardigan. So let me keep working, then I'll be back and let you know the number of rows that are going to give me the full length of the cardigan that I'm working. This is my back panel, and I've done a total of 67 rows to get me to the length of the cardigan that I want, minus this part for the ribbon. So let me show you the length that I have with the 67 rows. And when we're measuring the length, we do not stretch out. So measure without stretching from the top of the cardigan all the way down. So right here, before I started working on the ribbon, I have a length of 24. Then the ribbon covers 2.5 inches, and this takes me to 26.5. So if you want a cardigan of length, say 24, you're going to work up to around 22 inches. Then the rest of the length will be covered by the ribbon. So 67 rows will give me the 24 inches. Then I'll show you how to do the ribbon. The ribbon for the bottom and the bottom part for the back panel and the front panel are the same. So I've already done this. I'll be illustrating how to do the ribbon with one of the front panels. And then you can apply that in the creating of the ribbon for the back panel and the rest of the other panels. So let's do one of the front panels. Now, once you have your back panel, you take the measurement, the number of stitches that you've done at the beginning, and mine was 60. Take that 60 and subtract 10. So regardless of the size that you worked, regardless of the number of stitches that you started with, you're going to subtract 10. So 60 minus 10, that will be 50. 50 divided by 2, that will be 25. So one of the back panels will be 25 stitches over here. So I've already done one of the front panels. I started with 25, then added one more, which was the turning chain. So my starting stitches in row 1 are 25. And then I went on to do the 67 rows. Then I did a ribbon at the bottom. So I'll show you how to do the other front panel because you need two. And they are completely identical. So let's do the one of the other front panels. Start with a slip knot, then chain 25, I have the 25 chains. Then I'm going to block off that last chain and chain one more, yarn over, go into the chain that I'm blocking off and place a half double crochet, then one half double crochet into all the chains across, so that at the end of row 1 we're going to have 25 half double crochets. I'm done with row 1, so I'll chain 1 and turn to begin row 2. Begin row 2 in the very first stitch, yarn over, insert the hook into that stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, get 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all the 3, then go on, place 1 half double crochet into all the stitches across. Then we're going to repeat row 2 until we get 67 rows, or the number of rows that you did in your back panel. So if you did 50, repeat till you get 50. If you did 70, repeat till you get your 70 rows. So I'll do a total of 67 rows for that front panel, then I'll be back. I'm done with the 67 rows of the front panel. So now I'll show you how to do the ribbing. So you need to make sure that once you're done with the back panel, you don't cut off the yarn, because you're going to use it to do the ribbing. And this is how we're going to do the ribbing for all the panels. So to begin, we start by chaining 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. After the 11 chains, we're going to skip the first one, then insert the hook into the second chain, yarn over and pull a loop, then pull it through the 2 loops on the hook to complete a slip stitch. And make sure that your slip stitches are not too tight, because we need to work into them in the next row. Then move on to the second chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, then pull it through for the second slip stitch. Then we're going to do 1 slip stitch into each of the chains for a total of 10 slip stitches. So that's 3, and we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This is the 10th. Then we're going to skip the first stitch, go into the second stitch and slip stitch into it. Make it tight. You can make the slip stitches on the stitches tight. Then go into the next stitch and slip stitch again. Then turn. After turning, we're going to begin in the 10th stitch that we've just done in the previous row, which will be the first stitch now. So right here in the back loop, make sure that you're working the back loops. So this is the back loop over here. Sorry, I think I made that too tight. So make sure that your stitches are not too tight so that you're able to go into the back loop. So this will be the first slip stitch. Then we move on to the second, the third in the back loops, the fourth, then we have 6, 7. Is that's 6, 7, 8, 9, and don't forget the very last one right here. That will be our 10th stitch. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 3 of the ribbon. Begin in the back loop of the first stitch, then place 1 slip stitch into all the other back loops for a total of 10 slip stitches. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is a 10th, 10. Then we're going to go into the next stitch and slip stitch, then slip stitch into the next stitch and turn. After turning, we're going to start in the back loop of the first stitch over here. Work a total of 10 slip stitches, 1 in each of the stitches, and make sure that you're working the back loop. Chain 1 and turn, and this is row 5. So we've done row 1 up to row 4, and we're going to be repeating row 2 and row 3. So row 2 is the same as row 4. Row 5 is the same as row 3. So we alternate the 2 rows. So begin in the first loop and move on all the way down for a total of 10 slip stitches. Then next we move on to the next stitch, slip stitch, then slip stitch into the next one and turn. Now continue repeating the rows until you worked into all the stitches to the end. And that's what you're going to do for all your panels. So keep going. I'll meet you at the end of the stitches. Once I'm done with the stitches, I'll be back and show you what to do next.
Once you get to the end, chain 1 and cut the yarn. Pull the yarn through and fasten, and there we have one of the front panels. So you need to do another one completely identical to this with the back panel. Make sure that you do the ribbing the same exact way. So right now I have my 2 front panels and I have a back panel. Next, we're going to do the sleeves before we can start attaching everything. So I want to do all the panels and then attach them at the very end. To do the sleeves, we're going to work the same exact way we worked the back panel and the front panel. But with the sleeves, I'm going to begin with a chain of 50. That chain should be able to give you between 16 and 18 inches, depending on your size. So if you're small, you can work 14. If you're a size large to extra large, you can work up to 18, which is the length of the armhole. Now, in my case, I did a total of 50 stitches over here. So these are 50. When I do the first row with the 50 stitches, let me see the length. I'm at a length of 16.5. So like I was mentioning before, you can work between 14 to 18. 18 is a standard size for an adult armhole, but if you're a size small, you can go with 14. 14, that will be, in my case, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will be 42 stitches. So begin with 43 and then you'll get to the 14. If you're working up to 18, you might need to increase like 5 chains. So instead of starting with 50 like me, you might start with 55. So we're going to work the 50 chains plus 1 and then work the half double crochets the same exact way we worked with the front and the back panel, but the number of rows will be different. So in my case, for the sleeve, I've worked a total of, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 47. So for the sleeve, I've done a total of 47 rows instead of 67 like I did with the main panels, the back and the front panels. Then at the end, I did a ribbing. But before doing the ribbing for the sleeve, I've done a little bit of a reduction, and then I left a long tail that I'll use to connect the 2 sides of the sleeve. So let me show you how to do the reduction at the very end of the sleeve before working the ribbing. Right here, I have the 47 rows for the sleeve before working the ribbing. So once you've gotten to your desired length before the ribbing, you're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to do a row of reduction at the last row before the ribbing, and we're going to start with inserting the hook in the first stitch and doing a single crochet. So pull up a loop, get 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through the 2 loops. Then we're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch, that's 2, a single crochet into the 3rd stitch, and a single crochet into the 4th stitch. So 4 single crochets. Then in the next 2 stitches, we crochet the 2 together. So yarn over, we are not yarning over, insert the hook and pull up a loop, insert the hook into the next stitch and pull up a loop to get 3 loops on the hook, then yarn over and pull through the 3 loops. So that's our first reduction. Then we're going to work a total of 4 single crochets, 1 into each of the next 4 stitches. So this will be 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then in the next 2 stitches, we reduce. So insert the hook, pull up a loop, insert the hook into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all the loops. Then work another 4 single crochets, then reduce. So for the reduction, crochet 2 together, single crochet 2 together, like that. Then another 4 single crochets, 1 into each of the next 4 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then you single crochet 2 together, then keep going with that reduction to the end. At the very end, I'm just going to have 2 single crochets remaining. So work the remaining stitches, and this is what we have. So now, after doing the reduction, we start doing the ribbing. Start by chaining 11. Then we're going to work the same exact way we've worked the other ribbing. So skip the first chain, work into the second one, do a slip stitch, and place 1 slip stitch into all the stitches across for a total of 10 slip stitches. After the 10, we're going to turn like this, skip the first stitch, slip stitch into the second, then slip stitch into the third, and turn your work. Then we're going to begin row 2 in this back loop of the first stitch. Slip stitch, then work a total of 10. So this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 right there in the last stitch. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 3. We begin row 3 in the first back loop and work a total of 10. I'm done with the 10. Then we go into the next stitch, slip stitch, then slip stitch into the one that follows and turn to begin row, which row is this? Row 5 or 3? Row 5. So work slip stitches. This is row 4, sorry, this is row 4. You're working 1 slip stitch into each of the loops till we get to the top, and row 4 is the same as row 2. Then row 6 will also be the same as row 2 and 4, which is the same as row 8, 10, and so on. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 5, which is the same as row 3. It will also be the same as row 7, row 9, row 11, and all the other odd rows. So just do 1 slip stitch into each of the back loops. Be careful not to miss any stitch. Then we're going to skip over to the next stitch and slip stitch, then slip stitch into the next one and turn, then work row 6 with slip stitches at the back loop. Now keep going with the ribbon. I'll meet you once I'm done. I'm done with the ribbon on the sleeve, so I'll chain one and I'm going to leave a long end that I'm going to use to connect the sleeves, the sleeve on this side. So when I fold it in, after attaching it to the main part of the cardigan, I'll use this thread to attach here. But this is how one of my sleeves looks like. I've already done the other one, as you've seen. So we have two of these. So we have the two sleeves over here. Then we have the back panel ready, and we have the two back panels. So now we are ready to join the pieces in order to get the cardigan. So let's do that. Next, we're going to join the pieces, and right here I have the two front panels and the back panel. I've placed them on the table such that this is the wrong side of the back panel on the table and this is the right side. Then with the front panel, this is the right side, the wrong side. So the two right sides are facing each other, and now we're going to join stitch by stitch from one side. So we start with this front panel on this side, we attach it to the back panel, starting with this first stitch and the first stitch on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'll create a knot at the beginning, then I'm just going to sew the two pieces together stitch by stitch into the next stitch, which is the second stitch, and the second stitch on the other side. And as I do that, I'm going to work over this, or I can leave them and weave them in later. So here you need to ensure that you're aligning your stitches the right way. So I've just worked the first stitch, then the second stitch on this side and the second stitch on the other side. We sew them together. Then we move on to the third stitch and the third stitch on the other side. We're going to have a total of 25 stitches joined because the front panel has 25 stitches. So this is the fourth and the fourth on the other side. So keep going until you attach up to this point. So at the very end, in that last stitch, I'll do a knot. Then I'll weave in this end on this row. Now once I'm satisfied that it's well hidden, I'll cut it off. Then I'll move on to the other side and attach this other front panel. So I'll just turn my work and start from this side. When I start from the edge, I don't really have to mark because I'm just going to follow the stitches one after the other. Just make sure that you're not skipping a stitch and you're not working in the same stitch twice. I'm at the last stitch, so I'll do the knot once, then a second one, then weave in this end, and cut the yarn. So now we have the two front panels attached to the back panel at the shoulders. The next thing that we need to do is attach the sleeves. So let me show you how to do that. You need to turn your work like this and make sure that you're on the wrong side. This is the wrong side. So one of the sleeves is going to come to this point on the shoulders. The other sleeve will be on this other side on the shoulders. So I'll show you how to attach one of the sleeves, then I'll let you go on and attach the other one. So get your sleeve and count and get the middle stitch. My stitches are 50, so I'm going to get the 25th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So I'm going to mark in between the stitches right here. Then this will go to the shoulders over here. So 25 stitches. We're going to connect on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'll connect on the 10th row, which is the 20th, actually, not the 10th. So this stitch at the end over here, I'm counting 20 rows, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 onto that point. That's where I'm going to connect. Then I'm going to count the 20 stitches on the other side. So 1, 2. Let me get my darning needle. Get a longer yarn. So from here, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this first stitch and that row over there, those two are going to connect together. Right here, I'll do a knot. Then I'll just sew these two together. As I do that, I'll work over my ends now because I don't want to have too many ends to weave in at the end. So just sew the two parts together. So these are stitches and rows. So there's no, like, I can't tell you that one stitch will go with one row but you just need to align them well. Just align your work well, then just sew. Because we are on the side where the stitches are, we'll sew stitch after stitch, making sure it's aligning well with the rows. This is the last stitch, so I'll make a note over there. Then one last knot and weave in that end. Then now I'll turn to the other side and attach the second sleeve the same exact way. So I'm going to do this off camera and I'll be back once my two sleeves are attached. I'm attaching the sleeves on both sides of the cardigan, as you can see. So that is one, and this over here is the second one. So now we're going to fold our work like this. Make sure that you're on the wrong side of the cardigan. Fold your work in so that you have the front panels over here at the front. So we have something like this. So the sleeves also are going to fold in. So this is one of the sleeves, and we're going to start joining from the ribbing of the wrist all the way through the armpit, and then we're going to join all the way down to the bottom part. So what I'll do, I'll get a stitch marker and mark the armpits. Then I'll get another stitch marker and mark just before the stitches on the ribbon at the bottom. Then I'll start at the wrist. I already have a long end that I left over here, so I'll get my darning needle, put the yarn through, then I'm going to join these stitches, the first stitch with the first stitch on the other side. I'll start with a knot because I want to secure that first stitch. Then I'll join the next 9 stitches, just sewing them together. Now from here, you just need to make sure that your rows are well aligned. And then you're going to attach all the way to the armpit, all the way down to the bottom part. So over here, So right here I've already joined all the rows. So now what's remaining are the stitches, the slip stitches at the end. I'll just mark the very end just to align my stitches the right way, and I'll go on and sew them together. At the end we put a knot, then we're going to weave in the end. So I'll just go over the stitches over here till I get to the rows where I can hide the end. So right here on this half double crochet row, I'm going to weave in the end and then cut it off. So weave it in like that, get the pair of scissors, cut the yarn. So now one of the sides of the cardigan is fully joined from the sleeve through the armpits all the way down. So now we're going to do the other side the same exact way. I'll do that off camera, then I'll be back once I'm done joining right here. I've gone on to attach the other side of the cardigan. So we have the second sleeve over here. The sides are joined. So now we're going to turn our work to the right side so that we can do the ribbing at the front part of the cardigan. So that's the only part that's remaining. And our cardigan is turning out so beautifully. I can't wait to be done with this. So if you're enjoying the tutorial, kindly make sure that you leave a like, place a comment, tell us what you think you should do next, tell us whether you love the cardigan or not, and what other cardigans you would like to see tutorials for. So this is how the cardigan looks like so far without the ribbon at the front part over here. So all the way to the top, right there we have one of the sleeves and the second sleeve. So now let's do the ribbon at the front part of the cardigan so that we can complete. To attach the ribbon, we're going to start by working a row of single crochets all the way around the front part of the cardigan. So I'm going to turn my work like this, get the yarn, make sure that you're working from the right side of your work. So then I'll start on this side, and this is the right hand side when you're holding your work flat on the table. Then I'll start on the first stitch, insert the hook, get the yarn, pull up a loop, chain one, go back into that stitch with a single crochet, into the next stitch, do a single crochet. Then I'm working over this end just to weave it in. So single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the stitch that follows. Keep going with the single crochets until we are done with the stitches. then a single crochet at this part of joining the ribbon, a single crochet into the half double crochet row that follows. Then the next row will get 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. The next row gets 1 single crochet. Then the next one gets 2 single crochets, 1, 2. Next we have 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets. So we're going to alternate between 1 single crochet in one row, 2 single crochets into the next. So 1, then 1 and 2, then 1, next 1 and 2, and then we're going to keep going all the way around. When we get to the stitches on the neckline, we're going to place 1 single crochet into each of the stitches. Then we're going to turn to the other side on the half double crochet rows, and we're going to place 2 single crochets, then 1 single crochet all the way to this point. Then when you get here, each of the stitches will get just 1 single crochet. I'm at the corner, so I'll just turn to the other side and keep working on the stitches. 1 single crochet into each of the stitches on the neckline. I'm done with the stitches, so I turn to the other side on the rows. In the very first row, I'll place 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochets into the next one, 1 single crochet into the next, 2 single crochets, and then continue all the way to the bottom. I'm coming to the end of the rows. This is the last row over here, placing 2 single crochets. Then I'll get to the stitches and I'll place 1 single crochet into each of the stitches. So as you can see, I've just brought this yarn to this side so that I can work over it. I do not want to have too many ends to weave in once I'm done. I'm done with the row of single crochets, so now we can do the ribbon. Start by chaining 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we're going to turn our work like this. Then begin in the second chain after the hook. So this is the first, this is the second. Insert the hook, do a slip stitch, and we're going to do a total of 6 slip stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then we're going to skip the first stitch and work into the second, slip stitch into the second, then slip stitch into the third and turn. When we turn, we're going to do slip stitches in the back loop, starting with the first one over here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Chain 1 and turn. Then again work 6 slip stitches, 1 into each of the back loops, starting with the first one. So after chaining 1, we're going to go into the first back loop over here, do a slip stitch, then do a total of 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Then into the next stitch we slip stitch and slip stitch into the next one, then turn and work the 6 slip stitches, 1 into each of the back loops, and we're going to continue like this all the way around till we get to the other side. So you already know how to do the ribbon, so go on, work every stitch, every single crochet stitch that we've done, make sure that you work into it and go all the way around the neckline to the other side of the cardigan. So I'm going to do this off camera, then I'll be back once I'm done.